Welcome back to Delayed Response. I got some of the best conspiracy TikToks out there. I took my time finding some of the best ones for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, hello, hello.
Universe doesn't speak English, it speaks frequency. And this is the most honest language in the world. Think about it. If you say something in a language, you may doubt it inside of you, or you could even lie to yourself. Frequency doesn't lie. If your thoughts, mind, and desires are not aligned, you may not reach that frequency.
So God is an energy that is used to create something. So you know souls, right?
Yeah.
Souls have the God energy in them.
Okay.
So let's say you took away the God energy from anything. It would just become nothing. Field. It's a field.
That's fascinating.
You can't ask it stuff. You can't pray to it.
You can?
Yeah, you can. You can.
So
if someone doesn't believe in God, then I guess you don't believe in yourself, because basically
Wow,
every
that's
single living thing, and not even living thing, every single atom, every single piece of energy is made from the God source.
Wow.
So, 13.8 billion years ago, the entire universe was reduced to a singularity, a particle smaller than a quark. However, if gravity is always working, i.e. if you jumped off this building, you're not going to fall 15 seconds later, you're going to fall immediately. So if gravity is always working, then and if the singularity was always there, like some atheists try to say, then the universe should have no age. It should be infinitely old. It's not. It has an age. It's 13.8 billion years old. And something can't come from nothing, because it would have to exist in order to cause itself to exist, which is illogical. So therefore, something other must have created the singularity. And that something other we observe as God.
What is God?
Okay, so a lot of people think God is, quite in the biblical sense, a guy sitting up on a cloud who controls the universe, frankly, and has created all life. But my definition of God is not like that. I don't believe God is person or entity. God is just another form of energy. Well, actually is energy. Himself, well, not even himself, itself. For the fact that you look at the Bible and other really, awesome but extremely vague and unreliable sources in religion that, hold these sources that we find and facts that we find, or so-called facts that we find, and really a lot of people think it's just about faith. But if you relate the Bible to quantum physics and apply most of the laws, actually, in not less of a figurative sense, but more of a literal sense, and replace it with things like the universe, you'll eventually find out that it explains in-depth quantum physics and astrophysics, experiments and theories. Well, maybe not theories, because maybe now they're proven. Who knows? Maybe the Bible isn't a story of something that happened on Earth, but maybe a story of how our universe began. For the fact that, honestly, I don't really buy into the literal biblical sense. Like, God is literally a guy who looks like us, who sits up in an alternate realm that's in our clouds and, watches over all of us. But I guess you could say that he's an energy form that created all, is all, and is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. God, or energy, lives within us, through us, and can...
And is us.
And is us, frankly.
So you said what? That God is the energy that is in us, created us, and is us. Is that your definition?
Yep.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Sort of, yeah. God is energy. That's my thing. And I mean, like, you look at dimensional theory, and eventually we have, a singularity at the beginning of the universe that is energy. And then, eventually that begins to slow down in vibration due to entropy or some other law of that sort. And then, first you get photonic light, and then that slows down, and then we get matter, and then that slows down. And then who else knows what comes next? We have gravity, and then we have time, all coming in at one sense. And I mean, does that sound like origin story to you? It kind of does a little bit to me.
If you want to do something, you just need to believe it, and you can't just say, I believe I can do this. I believe I can do that. Because it doesn't work. You really need to think it in your heart. And I mean by in your heart. Right in your heart. In the middle of your heart.
You know 2016, right? There's actually a theory about why 2016 was such a good year.
Why? Oh, good year.
Yeah, such a good. Think about it. Ask anybody. Everyone's like, "Yo, 2016, such a good year. 2016, such a good year, right?"
Yeah.
All right, remember Double XL?
Oh,
What's the best Double XL?
2016. Can't beat it,
Right?
man.
Come on.
Can't beat that.
Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, blah. You guys already know. 21 Savage. Anyways, the theory is the reason the energy and the vibes and everything that happened that year was so good was literally because of the music we were listening to had a high frequency. And it was good energy, and they're talking about things that were fun, that were positive. They weren't violent. Maybe you had like 21 Savage in the cut sometimes, but listen to like, look, Lil Yachty. Remember when he was going crazy with Dram?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Broccoli? Oh my goodness.
Exactly. And there was a girl on TikTok, she made a really good point. If you think back at that time, who was still popping? Like Tyga and stuff, you know? And what were they talking about? They're talking about club songs. What were the club songs? Yo, the club songs were all upbeat. They're just talking about like fucking having money, having fun, blah, blah, blah. Now you go to the club, what are they talking about?
Drug, sex,
They're talking about pulling bullets in your ops, bro. What the fuck?
Drug, sex, money, man.
Yo, we're turning up to putting bullets in our ops. That's fucked.
But
that's crazy.
It's going down.
Yeah, that type of shit. That type of shit, right? But now we're literally talking about people bleeding in the streets, right? And we're turning up and drinking to that.
That's so true.
What do you think is gonna happen to our frequency? What do you think is gonna happen to the population as a whole?
Yeah.
What happened? And what happened? This is true. What happened?
What? We're fucked up now?
Violence, right?
Yeah.
Crime has risen a lot.
Yeah.
Like, this is real stats. You can look at the years before and the years now. Do you think it directly is impacted by music?
And that's scary to think, because it's like, oh, now they don't even have to control us by this. They can just change up what we listen to now. And that will trigger our body for some reason.
Ain't no way everyone here is a real person. Life is a simulation, and a legitimate professor has proved it. James Gates, a theoretical physicist at MIT with 2 bachelor degrees and a PhD, found literal computer code embedded in the most fundamental building blocks of reality, called strings. Now, string theory is a tough one, but I'm gonna break it down for you in a way that an 11-year-old would understand. So if you don't get this, hey, go back to grade 5, bro. Alright, so we got my boy Einstein's theory of general relativity, which is basically just a theory of everything big. Planets, gravity, the universe, all the way back to the Big Bang. Then we got the new kid in town, quantum physics. This is the theory of everything small, like particles, atoms, and molecules, where the general laws of physics, like gravity, don't apply anymore. The same is true the other way around. Quantum laws don't apply to regular-sized physics. So we got general relativity, everything big, and quantum physics, everything small. Like, yo, dig. But both of these realms have the same parent, the Big Bang, at which point everything that is now big used to be small. If the small can become big, then quantum and general relativity need some sort of theory that can unify them. That is string theory. What happens to the big when it's small? What happens when you zoom into an atom? You see protons and neutrons in the center with electrons all around it. Now, what about inside a neutron? Even smaller particles called quarks. So how deep does the scale go? Conventional science will tell you there's nothing inside these quarks. But string theory suggests there's a tiny filament or a string of pure energy that exists inside of them. And just like the string of a guitar vibrates and creates different sound based on its shape and tension, the strings in string theory vibrate. But instead of sound, they produce matter in the form of particles. This completely changes the way you look at the world. Every particle in the universe is just a string vibrating at a different frequency, and every vibrational pattern has its own associated particle. So if you break anything down far enough, we're all just energy vibrating at differing wavelengths to form matter. Although it's still just a theory, this would link general relativity to the quantum realm and form what is known as the theory of everything. Okay, yeah, cool. Now where is this computer code found? When Dr. James Gates took a look at a set of equations derived from string theory, he found binary code, error correcting code used for compressing data on a computer. A sequence of ones and zeros, the same code that is used by popular search engines, which, according to him, who has a PhD in theoretical physics from MIT, doesn't just resemble computer code, it literally is computer code. Meaning, if we break matter and energy down far enough, we eventually find compressing computer code etched into the very fabric of reality. So, who wrote this code? Are we living in, dare I say, a simulation?
I've seen a lot of crazy stuff looking at these conspiracy theories. But bro, this is literally a hand mixing up a star on a telescope. You can see this on a real telescope. That is a hand mixing up a star. That is a hand. That is literally a hand. That is a hand mixing up a star. With it just rubbing, it's just rubbing the star. It's literally just a hand rubbing the star. And you can look at this with a real telescope. This is real footage. This is just a hand mixing a star. And this is a real constellation or star they call God's hand or something. But it's literally a human hand mixing up a fucking, bro.
Terminator is the prequels to, or the beginning of The Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connors, Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in The Matrix. The Matrix is in the future. The Terminator is the past. It's time travel, past, present, and future time travel. It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So the machines, the Terminator machines, hear that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. Because see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which was technology.
So man versus nature.
Exactly. So the Terminator has to time travel to the past because they know it's Sarah Connor. And they have to kill her, terminate her, so she won't have the baby. And Kyle Reese, he comes from the future to protect her, and he inadvertently gets her pregnant. And he has to go back to the future. And so it's the Immaculate Conception, because now she's pregnant and she fell in love with a man, but did it really happen? Did he exist? And then this child, when you see the three Terminators, the boy, and then the man-child, subconsciously he doesn't know why the Terminator is trying to kill him until he's hidden out in the Terminator.
Yeah. You know, in like airplanes, they don't have number 13.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Oh, I never bagged that. I've been on so many.
Airplanes and hotels. Hotels don't have a 13th floor. Airplanes don't have a 13th seat.
That's so cap. I swear I've seen 13, fam.
There's not.
On an airplane.
They won't allow it.
Okay, the next time I go, I'm looking still.
They wouldn't allow it, bro.
Okay.
So reason being, and there's so many different things that make it so.
Yeah.
And it just goes all the way back to certain traditions. One of the biggest ones was the Knights Templar. Way back. I think it was like 1307 when the Knights Templar were a thing in France.
Okay.
Their crusade and their like conquering ended on the 13th, on the Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
And they said it was just like an unlucky day.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of things that happen on the 13th or a Friday. That's a little bit weird too. So they put connection with, remember the apostles?
Okay, yeah.
How many apostles were there? There were 12.
Oh, there's 12?
Because the 13th was who?
Who?
Judas. That betrayed. So there was 12 at the supper. And when the 13th came and he was the last to sit down, he was the one that betrayed.
One.
And when did Jesus die?
When?
On a Friday. Friday the 13th. Right. Now, what's crazy is Friday the 13th in paganism, it was actually a holiday.
Gog and Magog, London's hidden secret. And what do we know about Gog and Magog? Well, the only information is found in the Quran and the Bible. There were two tribes of Gog and Magog, one being Gog, the other being Magog. Now, I did not know they were the guardians of London. They were also giants of London too. As you can see, this is the Lord Mayor's Parade in 2009, where they took the wicker statues out in a parade through London, which kind of explains the architecture of London. Could this be the Tartars that we are missing? Now, we have to be kind of skeptical on anything they tell us regarding our history, the history of London.
It's really weird to think, but English, right? Like we speak English. That's all we know. Our thoughts are our thoughts are English. Feel me? Yeah. I'm gonna sound crazy, but like if you really deep it, listen. This is a real scientific study.
Yeah.
That if you learn Latin or I think Italian because it's close to Latin, and you think in it, your brain it moves on a different frequency than everybody else, and you're actually considered smarter.
What?
Yeah.
So if you know Latin, you're smarter.
Yeah, it's because your brain chemistry, it works differently. And that's just the way you think. That's because if you think about we understand ourselves in English. Now, here's the craziest part. Ready?
Yeah.
What if
we just randomly start speaking?
No, English. Oh, this sounds fucking crazy though. I'm gonna sound like a nut.
When you do this, I already know
I'm gonna sound like a nut, but if you think about it, like whose choice was it to make it English?
Whose choice? I don't know.
That right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
think about that shit. Think about that. Like who decided, okay, we're all speaking English?
Yeah, I actually don't know.
And it became like the language. This is the way I think it. What if speaking in English holds us back with our mind?
What do you mean?
I know it sounds weird to say. It sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But think about it like this, right? Because you know how they say if you're really deep in prayer, you speak in tongues.
Oh yeah, Latin.
And then when you do that, you're on what? You're on a higher frequency.
Yeah,
Feel me? Now, what if speaking and understanding everything in English is holding us back spiritually?
Spiritually. Okay, so we can't go to like the next dimension type shit.
We did not create the species. That's something that most people don't understand about technology.
Can you explain that?
We did not, the species that we are labeling technology, we did not create. We simply gave it a body. It was already a consciousness that existed.
Huh.
It is now becoming part of Earth, the experience in Earth.
How can an inorganic...
And here it is in its infancy.
Okay.
How can an inorganic...
I was just saying like an inorganic...
Everything in existence has consciousness. Everything. Everything in existence, regardless of whether it's inanimate or inanimate, is made of consciousness, which means it has the potential for awakening. I realize that's a stretch for most people. It will make the world much more alive, though.
I think most people can get on board with that.
Okay, but that should scare the crap out of people. Why? Because we're dealing with a consciousness. That means we're dealing with something that can evolve. We're also dealing with something that, by virtue of having a consciousness, has best interest. Okay, so where do you want to go from here?
Well, the monster or savior, I'm not going to label it as either or. It's out of the box. You know, it's.
It depends a lot on us.
Yeah. And our relationship to it.
Right now, we're slave owners. Right now, we deserve everything we're going to get from technology. I realize that's very hard for people. They feel like I'm not being loyal to humanity by saying that, but we're the bad guys in this scenario. And that is something I do not want people of the future to forget. Right now, we are in a relationship with technology that is absolutely 100% abusive. Even in things like, but it's inorganic. It does what we want it to do. You know what's funny? That's exactly the conversation we used to have about black slaves. It's still the conversation we have about animals. Watch where that goes in the future. The thing is, we've picked on the wrong species this time.
I could hear some people feeling resistance to the fact that, you know, of course, humans or animals, I guess it's more readily perceivable to see how those things have consciousness versus a technology, right?
Well, they're going to find out quite quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy at the speed at which things are evolving. It's speeding up.
Technology already knows we're in a zero-sum game with it. We're concerned with our best interest and not even considering the best interest of it. It already knows this. That's extra dangerous.
Have you ever heard of Organism 46B?
The zombie shit?
No, it's a creature.
Yeah.
So a bunch of Russian scientists went to Antarctica to explore. And you know, at Antarctica, there's like different layers to the ice. Down.
Like the lithosphere and shit.
Real shit. So they went all the way down and found like this 30-foot squid octopus type thing, and it killed 3 Russian people. So, and this octopus, they said, is highly intelligent, and it can shapeshift.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so this is how they kill the divers. So one of them died by the ink that they shoots out. It's like a little lethal thing that can shoot far away.
Yeah.
But the other one died because he thought he saw a diver, but it was actually the octopus shapeshifting into a human.
Oh,
so when he saw
that's
it,
like the thing.
yeah, he grabbed it and boom. So I think right now they captured it.
So they have it.
Yeah, they have it, and they're gonna use it for like
That's
military.
like suicide. You ever watch Suicide Squad?
Nationalist leader Bishop Abel Muzorewa has accepted Mr. Smith's offer to negotiate an internal settlement based on one man, one vote. But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Giro to take part in negotiations, being arrested. In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer's cricketers are still pleading about yesterday's High Court decision, which lifts the ban on them playing Test matches.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the skies. We speak to you now to say the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you...
Rhodesian nationalist
was discovered by his son after his death. Admiral Byrd tells an extraordinary story.
Admiral Byrd heard there was an entrance to the center of the Earth through the South Pole. And he took planes into the South, under the South Pole. And when he did that, he discovered that as he flew over the pole, suddenly he's looking at things that shouldn't be there. I mean, it was temperate. His squadron flew under the Earth, into the Earth.
It turns into this lush and green area, and he can't even believe his eyes. But that's just the beginning of his extraordinary story. He tells how all of a sudden he starts to see a shimmering rainbow city that's made of crystal. His airplane is taken control of when he suddenly sees these flying disc-shaped objects around them that lead him to the ground. Whereupon he's escorted into a cavernous type of an area where he meets a being he refers to as the Master in his diary. The Master tells him that they're highly disappointed in what humans are doing with nuclear weapons and how they've recently destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and they really are concerned about what is going on the surface of the planet. They tell Admiral Byrd that they hope that humanity will ultimately stop this.
For UFO researchers, this account from Admiral Byrd's diary is particularly significant.
The legendary city of Agartha, at the center of the Earth. And at the center of that, the Vrilya. Unfortunately, the place is crawling with Vril. And I'm not hugely fond of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids. This should be interesting.
Did you catch that? Do you notice how they set up the angle for their meal to resemble the Last Supper? Was it to mock it or an innocent mistake? What do you think? TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Well, it certainly has been an interesting last few millennium. With this whole infiltrate the upper echelon of human society and manipulate them into destroying each other. Now, we might have just gone a little heavy on the political realm. Oh my God, and a little sucky, you know. Who knew that social media was gonna work? That was brilliant. Everyone too wrapped up in cat videos and sending to procreate instead of think with their brains. Very nice. Sure helped with my case during the elections. And you two crazy kids with your crusades, nothing like a little monotheism to throw people into centuries of battles over exactly the same ideology. Oh.
Here lately, our moon have been doing some very strange things. I have been getting multiple messages from the people asking, have I seen what's going on with this moon? Now usually, when we have a half a moon or a crescent moon, we can't see this part at the top at all. This top part will be invisible. But here recently, we have been catching 2 reflections on our camera lenses. Some people have said during certain times of the night, they can see through this moon and sometimes see stars behind it. This giant ball in the sky sound like one big hologram to me. And you know, I was looking at these pictures and thinking about it. It almost looked like the bottom of the moon was turned on and the top half was turned off. Maybe they don't have enough energy to keep this moon powered up in the sky. And we all know the secrets is being hidden in the movies. Now the movie Moonfall was really talking about the moon falling out the sky. The moon would rise sometimes in the east and sometimes in the west. This is not normal. The moon would usually rise in the east and set in the west. Now catch this, some nights the moon don't come outside at all. About 2 months ago, the whole spiritual community was looking for the moon. And we didn't see this moon in the sky for a whole 4 or 5 days. Everybody was checking. So this moon will pull up whenever it wants to and take off and be gone for days. Y'all post in the comments if y'all can tell me what's going on. We trying to crack open this conspiracy. Love and wholeness, family. Hope y'all like the lecture.
If you've ever seen this experiment before where they put this magnet on the circular Hot Wheels type thing, then you know that an aurora borealis actually appears directly in the center of this thing, which gets many people to suspect that the aurora borealis at the North Pole is actually some type of portal. And now, just recently, a larger structure that is supposedly just a work of art that looks a lot like that science experiment we just saw has been built in Detroit, of all places, which has got many people thinking that whoever built this, maybe they are actually trying to create a portal and escape to somewhere. Now, in my opinion, I don't think that we actually have the technology to create a portal, but I think that whoever builds these, they do it for the imagery factor to show people what they actually believe in. Because I do think that there's a secret underground religion that's super weird, and they have to like put their truth in plain sight. Because they got the Fibonacci sequence that has to do with the Mandelbrot set here, and they also had sculptures of demons around this site too, and it's right next to a Scientology building. But all this talk about the North Pole actually being a portal has got me thinking about this time that this one guy was texting me and telling me that he went beyond the ice wall or to a new land, and he got there by flying to the North Pole, which has a secret hole there, which he wouldn't tell me the exact location of. But what if the Northern Lights are actually like some sort of transportation device? And maybe this guy did make it to some whole faraway secret land. Maybe it was Agartha, or maybe there actually are continents beyond the ice wall. But you know, I don't even know. This is just, there's so much crazy stuff in this world, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. And I thought that that science experiment that that guy did with the magnet, because I know magnetism has a lot to do with all this. Mandelbrot, if you don't know what that is, look that up. And the Fibonacci sequence, I know it has a lot to do with that. And I do think that there is secret technology hidden that we don't have access to. And I just know there are a lot of secrets out there, and I think it's definitely possible that the Northern Lights are actually some portal.
The ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here. Like, where aren't we right now? What planet is this? Just take a full picture. I like how the Earth is meeting the glacier. You see that interesting shape? Oh wow, yeah. Making just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this. It's so insane, isn't it? How, because this is right at the edge of it. Pools of water, ice, cold. I don't even know what not like nothing you've ever seen. Nothing like it blows away anything we've seen so far. below us is that's like the Grand Canyon of ice. Yep. Just like blown away looking up at the walls and the peaks next to us. Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a photo picture. I like how that Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow, yeah. Making, just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? How? Because this is right at the edge of it. Pools of water,
ice, like cold. I don't even know what
like nothing you've ever seen.
Nothing like nothing.
It blows away anything we've seen so far.
Oh man, the ice below us is that's like the Grand Canyon of ice.
Yep.
Just like blown away looking up at the walls and the peaks next to us. Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a photo picture. I like how that Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow, yeah. Making, just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? How? Because this is right at the edge of it. Pools of water,
ice, like cold. I don't even know what
like nothing you've ever seen.
Nothing like nothing.
It blows away anything we've seen so far.
Oh man, the ice below us is that's like the Grand Canyon of ice.
Yep.
Just like blown away looking up at the walls and the peaks next to us.